Welcome to the Busy with Becca podcast, where I share insights to help you reshape your mindset and cultivate a healthy perspective. A healthy mindset is essential, especially when facing challenges and staying motivated to keep pushing forward. I may not have all the answers, but I invite you to sit back, enjoy the episode, and take away something meaningful as I dive in.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode where we're going to be talking about life, growth, mindset, and finding peace in a world that never stops moving. Today's topic is on Stoicism and what it really means and how it can help yourself and myself thrive through anything, regardless of what life throws your way. Now, Stoic isn't an unfamiliar word to many, but it's often described as being emotionless, cold, or just being detached. And honestly, for the longest time, I felt the same way, or that was my understanding of being Stoic. But through, deep research and some self-reflection, I actually stumbled on the philosophy of Stoicism. And then I realized that unknowingly, I've actually been living by that playbook. Maybe not in all the ways, or not like I've adopted all of the principles of Stoicism, but to a large extent I do live by it, and I felt it would be relevant to talk today about it. So I'm not saying that I'm a detached person or I'm detached from the world or that things don't affect me. Very, very far from it. But I find that living a life of gratitude and focusing on what's within my control is actual classic Stoic thinking. So we need to find balance, emotional balance. So we're not being pulled to two extremes of one being overly emotional over everything that goes on in life because a lot is going on, or being overly desensitized to things because there's a lot going on and we now need to shut stuff out. So let's get into it. What exactly is Stoicism? And obviously, how is it relevant to you and I? So Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that originated in Greece by a guy named Zeno, and he got the name from a place, I think it's Stoi, somewhere close to Greece, or a town in Greece. But then it was further developed by other deep thinkers, especially the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius and a philosopher Epictetus and another Seneca. So Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. And for me, at the core of it, that is what is most important. So it encourages you to control what you can and let go of what you can't. It's a very simple phrase, but then it's not easy to implement, regardless of how powerful it is. So another thing that I should point out is that Stoicism is it involves you feeling your emotions. So you need to be very self-aware. So rather than thinking it's about emotional repression, it's actually you learning how to control those emotions. So you're not being heartless, you're not being emotionally shut off, you're not being cold. On the contrary, you're supposed to acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge how you feel, but then learn how to manage those emotions rather than suppress them or act like they do not exist. So you do not let your emotions control you or drive your decisions. It's like, saying to yourself, yes, this thing really hurt me, this person really hurt me, but I will choose my response with wisdom. I will not act impulsively. I will not act based on the way my heart feels, but I would act based on logic and the greater good. So what are a few lessons that Stoicism is teaching me? I say teaching and not taught because these are lessons that I keep trying to remind myself to imbibe or to practice, so it becomes a part of me. So I'm not a perfect Stoic person. I'm not actually not even trying to be extremely Stoic, but to a large extent there are certain lessons that I've learned from the philosophy, and I'm going to mention a few today. So one of them is listen actively. Now this helps your relationships, it helps your life in general because you learn from people's experiences by paying attention to what they say. So according to this philosophy, or this concept of the philosophy, listen instead of speaking, quiet your words and allow others to share their thoughts. So now you learn from people's experiences, you become wiser, you have a deeper understanding of what triggers people or what makes people act the way they do, and it gives you time to really process information before you respond. So you always sound intelligent. That's a plus. And it deepens your relationships with other people because they feel heard, they feel seen, and it breeds a lot more honesty and unity because when we actively listen to each other, we're not listening to respond, we're not listening to just fulfill our righteousness. It makes our bond stronger, it makes our understanding of each other much better, And all in all, it just makes you a wiser person, you know? Now, the next point is expect the unexpected. Life is uncertain. Preparing your mind for the worst doesn't mean that you're being negative or you're being pessimistic. It just means that you are building resilience. And this will help you stay grounded when plans change. You always have a backup plan. You always have a solution. You always have a hack to forge ahead. And it forces you to face your darkest fears because you're less nervous about those fears. Because they're like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? And in the event that the worst does happen, what is my backup plan? You're not taking unawares. I don't know, it just kind of grooms you to be a stronger person, to be a more resilient person, to be an everly prepared person, come what may. Now, the next point I have here is see mistakes as teachers. Now, don't let failure shame you, let it shape you. Don't let your mistakes make you sad. Your mistakes should groom you to be a better version of yourself, should be a teacher on your journey to growth and self-improvement. It shouldn't be something that, how do I put it? It shouldn't be something that weighs you down to the point of giving up on that dream. So do not see and determine what you could do better moving forward. This will build your resilience, it will build your courage. It's just all around good for you. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about is that money should not be the goal. Money should be a tool and not a trophy. Stoicism reminds us that real wealth isn't in things, it's in being content with what you already have. Now, this might sound weird to some people because they're like, oh, I'm working so hard to make money. Oh, I'm doing all these things. I'm getting all this knowledge. I'm getting all these skills so I can make money. And making money is the goal. No, making money is the tool to give you a certain lifestyle, to achieve a certain goal, which should be something tangible. Do not worship money. Do not worship wealth. Do not worship possessions. Do not worship your achievements. They should just be a means to an end. Let your money help you reach good goals, but never make it the goal in itself. Then another lesson we have here is that live now. See your time as valuable and spend that time creating experiences, building relationships, growing and just being present in this life. That thing that you've thought about doing, go ahead and try it. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, you fail. And if you fail, that's a lesson learned on your journey to growth and self-improvement. But just live in the now. Stop saying, oh, tomorrow I'll do this, or today isn't the day, tomorrow I'll try this, or just do it now. Every moment is valuable and shouldn't be lost. See your life as a precious gift and live. Stop existing. Stop spending your time and energy on things and money. Put your time and energy into experiences that will make your life so much more colorful. That when you look back on this year or when you look back on last year, you're like, oh, I experienced this, I did this with this person, I developed this relationship. Like, put more value to your time and your life. And love and attention into learning new things, gaining new experiences, building your relationships. I can't overemphasize this. Just stop looking at other people living and saying, oh yeah, they're just doing this because they have this and this and this, or I wish I could do that, or because they're in a different environment, that's why they're able to do this. No, you are putting a cap on your existence. Stop, take that thing off and live. Let that cup run over. Now to the final point that I want to talk about in this episode, because there's so much to talk about on this Stoicism. Accept the things you cannot change and focus on the things that will bring you peace, serenity, and success. I cannot overemphasize this because this is the life that I want to live. This is the life that I'm building to, that I'm working to, where I accept things that are out of my control and just let them be and focus on the things that I can do, the things I have the strength and the skills and the power for and the interest in. That is where I want my attention to be. On things that are inconsequential to my existence, inconsequential to my growth, inconsequential to the growth of my family members, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to waste a drop of sweat thinking about those things. Now, accepting things that you cannot change doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means you are facing truth and finding ways to deal with it. So when a challenge comes your way, you're not fixated on. So you find more mental balance when you stop thinking about things that you cannot change. And I really encourage you to think about that. And then as a bonus point, let me just add this here because it's so much. It's really so much. It's really so much. It's Stoicism. So I'm just going to add this last one. And I said that with the accepting things as they are. Now this one is stay calm in stressful situations. People, let's not get carried away. Let's not act in anger. Let's not act out of fear. Let's not act out of worry. Stay calm in stressful situations. Being self-aware will help you accept your feelings without spiraling out of control all the time, or letting anger overwhelm you, or letting sadness overwhelm you. You're training your mind to accept things for the way they are. To stay way to practice this level of self-control is mindful breathing. So someone pisses you off in that moment, before you start to lash out or before you start to cry, just start to breathe deeply. This has never failed me, and I've seen it work for other people. Start to breathe deeply. And the more you focus on that breath, focus on your breath, focus on your heartbeat, it just distracts you from the emotion and keeps things calm. And then try to keep quiet. If that's possible, I encourage you to keep quiet. Do not speak in that moment. Just stay silent. You can never go wrong with silence. Never, ever, ever can you go wrong with silence. So with these 8 points of mine, are they 8? Or I don't know how many I've listed. But I just hope that we're able to adopt some of these things and put them into practice, because in the long run, practicing Stoicism is almost like a reset button every time you experience a challenge, because a thing comes up and you encourage yourself, you're self-soothing, you're self-calming, you're not attached to the material things, you're not attached to situations, you're not so attached to people that if they leave you, you feel like you're going to die. You just accept things as they are because they're out of the sphere of your control. You can't control the way people perceive you. You can't control the way people absorb you or absorb your information. All you can do is put your best self out there and hope that things work out. And if they don't work out, you're just like, okay, yeah, on to the next. What lesson have I learned from this? So not everything deserves a reaction. Peace comes from within, not from your possessions, not from people. You create that peace for yourself, and your power always lies in your response. Your power always lies in your response. You don't have to I'll just end it at your power lies in your response. So when you adopt even a small part of this mindset, you will find your freedom. And I say this as someone who is experiencing, who has experienced, who is planning to experience that release of control. And it's so ironic because I'm someone who generally likes to have things go the way that I anticipate, the way I would like. So constantly reminding myself that there are things that are out of my control and I should just let those things go has been very refreshing for me. And in more ways than one, this year has turned out to be largely a year of surrender for me, where I put in what I need to put out and I just let nature take its course. If it doesn't pan out the way I expected, fine. If it does, I'm grateful and I'm content. But in all things, I'm really, really trying to learn to control my responses, keep the peace from within, and be free of burnouts, be free to actually live and do what makes me happy, regardless of what people think, how people feel. At the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. So if you're navigating uncertainty, heartbreak, big decisions, or just feeling overwhelmed, I encourage you to lean into Stoic wisdom. And always start with this question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. And if the answer is yes, act with clarity and intention. And I hope I was able to add some value to you today through this episode. And if this resonated with you, please share it with someone else who needs a little calm and clarity in their life. And life will life, but you get to choose how you show what life is lifing. And I hope you subscribe to the YouTube channel, visit Becca podcast and Spotify. Leave a comment, like, share, do all the things that would encourage my page to, or my message rather, do all the things that will encourage my message to reach more people who need to hear it. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a fruitful and lovely week ahead. God bless you.